Okay, this is going to be video 16. I took a break on video 15. I went down to the Torrance Range and demonstrated the live fire exercises I wanted to do. So that's what you're going to see on video 15. This is going to be a continuation of my discussion about law enforcement. Now, I was speaking about the other side of the issue when I made the other video, and I was talking about that I know it's a hard life being a police officer. Now, I personally know of two incidences where police officers were killed. Well, one of the incidences happened back in Heartland about 40 years ago, or maybe it's been more than that now. It's been a long time ago, but I grew up with both of these guys and went to school with both of them, and I knew both of them. I knew the officer that was killed, and the guy that shot him also shot himself and committed suicide after he killed the officer. So I know of that incident. And there was another one out here that happened a lot of years ago when I was working at the station as the crew chief for Transworld Airlines. One of the mechanics that worked for me, his son was on the LAPD, and one night over in the jungle, him and his partner answered a domestic disturbance call, and they stepped out of their car, and as soon as they stepped out of their car, somebody shot his partner through the head and killed him. So that's two incidences I know of, and as I say, it's a hard life, and I'm well aware of that side of the issue. Now, having said that, I want to get back to the Mayor Calvo issue and another incident you've probably heard of, the Rodney G. King incident. That was caught, of course, on videotape and made news worldwide and all that good stuff. And to be perfectly candid, it did look bad. I mean, he was surrounded with police officers beating him pretty good. And as one lady said on a newscast, they beat that boy like a dog. And yeah, I reckon they did. Like I say, looked pretty bad. Now, the thing about these incidents is the Rodney G. King incident got worldwide attention because it was caught on videotape. And the Mayor Calvo incident got a lot of attention because, you know, Berwyn Heights, where he lives, is pretty much a bastion of white supremacy. It's Mayberry, USA. Nothing ever happens there, and the SWAT team breaks into the guy's house and, you know, abuses his wife and him and his mother-in-law and kills her two pets. That looks pretty bad, you know. You just don't think something like that would happen there. So that's why these two incidences got a lot of attention. Now, other than that, these things happen on a fairly routine basis all over the USA, and you never hear about them or know about them or anything like that. They're just fairly common. You know, a police officer goes to work in a typical big inner city area, beats up a couple of blacks during the course of his night. It's no big deal. It's just what they do. SWAT team goes to work in inner city Detroit. They kick in 2 or 3 doors a night, waste about 1 or 2 people a month. It's not a big deal. It's just something they do. It's just commonly done, and it doesn't make the headlines for the most part. So that's that part of it, and that's just the way it is. It's just what happens. Now, here's one of the things I decided about that. Now, I heard about the Mayor Calvo thing, you know, and I got somewhat angry and upset about that, but I've done a lot of thinking about that issue, and I decided that in the end that all of us bear a certain amount of responsibility for that, and here's how I decided that and why. We have what's known as a drug problem. Therefore, we have what's known as a war on drugs. Well, I'm sorry, but we do not have a drug problem. That's because I do not have a drug problem and I do not use drugs, so therefore we do not have a drug problem. And everybody's decided, well, you know, I don't want little Johnny or Susie using drugs, therefore let's have a SWAT team, let's give these people unlimited government authority, let's issue them a badge and a gun, have no-knock laws, let's issue them full automatic weapons. Let's issue them $2,000 worth of tactical gear. And let's hire the most sadistic thugs we can for this job, because we want these people to be tough. So that's what you get in the end, and that's why you get it. I'll utilize another example here of things that are border on the absurd. Now everybody knows about September 11th, 2001, I believe it was, when the Twin Towers collapsed, because some terrorists flew airplanes into them. Now, our solution for that has been to create a Department of Homeland Security and have people lined up outside the air terminals for a mile down the road and do all these security checks and do strip searches of 80-year-old grandmothers and take baby carriages apart, and look at everything, all the baby supplies and stuff like that. And now you can't take a bottle of water on the airplane now. Just all this stuff, and we've had this for several years now. And you see how much good it did. This Nigerian terrorist got on the airplane with a bomb, and just a matter of luck that he didn't detonate it and bring the airplane and all the people down. In fact, the people saved the lives of a lot of people, and we got lucky there. So that's another stupid thing that we've done. Instead of doing the sensible thing and profiling these people and don't let them get on the airplane, and just certain people live in certain countries, say you just don't fly in or out of the United States, that's the way it is. We don't want to offend anyone. We want to be politically correct. So we set up a system that abuses our citizens just to have what we call security. And that's another absurd example of the way things work. Now, here's the way I would have taken care of it personally. In the first place, I think the military should be in charge of things like this. As far as I'm concerned, when the 9/11 incident happened, this was a military problem. It should have never been a civilian problem. The military should have taken care of it. Okay, we know who's responsible for this, Osama bin Laden. Our intelligence can probably tell us within 25 miles where this guy is at. The correct response to this problem would have been to detonate one thermonuclear device within 25 miles of where we know that he is and wipe out a 25 square mile area. End of story. Even as stupid as these people are, they wouldn't bother us again. Now, I know what all my liberal friends are going to say. They're going to say, we can't do that. Why, look at all the women and children that would have been killed. My God, that's terrible. That makes us no better than they are. That's not true at all. In the first place, these terrorists who hijacked our airplanes and flew them into the Twin Towers and killed 3,000 of our people, women and children also, I might add, they were children at one time, were they not? They all had mothers at one time, did they not? Islam, which they followed, supposedly, we're supposed to tolerate Islam because it's their religion and not all Islam is bad. Well, I got news for the world. I'm sorry, but I hate to be the bearer of sad news, but Islam teaches that we are the infidel. We're only worthy of death. They're taught this from the time they come out of the womb, and that's all they grow up hearing. So Islam is not a religion of peace, and that's just the way it is. And okay, I'm 9:30 into this, so I'm going to cut this off and get on the next video here.